You're just kind of there to have a good time. I think for me, especially like this is my last selection show of my career. I feel like earlier in my career, you're a little nervous, you're a little anxious, sitting there wondering what your draw is going to be, but you have absolutely no control over it. So I think I'm just happy for our program. First one seed since 1992 or 93, so it's pretty impressive, and I think it just speaks to how we've been playing basketball lately, and kind of need to carry that into this tournament too.
We've been counting down your final home games. You're getting a chance to play here at Carver, so we hope for two more now that we have at this point. What does this mean to be able to know that you guys have two more home games coming up now?
Yeah, I think just really fortunate and lucky, and kind of knowing these every time I take the court could be my last, and soaking that in and going out there and playing my heart out. But anytime you get to host is a huge advantage, and I expect our fans to travel really well if we can advance off of our two games here off our home court. So I think more than anything, I'm just excited and going to try to soak in the moment, and I know that ticket's going to be hard to come by. So
how do you like playing the winner of the playing game like that? I mean, does that work in your favor, or do you?
I don't think it's a huge negative or positive. It kind of just is what it is. You probably prep a little bit for both, and once you know your opponent, you go from there for whichever one it is. And our coaches have kind of been, and our managers have been coding games like every possibility possible. So credit to them.
What's your mindset as this is your last tournament now, obviously, but you had so much success last year in this event. So personally, how are you feeling going into this?
I think just understanding how long it was last year and how you really have to go game to game. After you kind of get out of the first round, every team is basically a top 25 team. That's what you're looking at, and we were on the upset side of that my sophomore year, and then obviously we were very fortunate last year. And you need a little luck, you need a good draw, you need to be playing your best basketball. But I think the biggest thing for me is just enjoy every single second, because this is like the most fun basketball. You heard me say it. I think this is the greatest postseason tournament in all sport. You don't have it one night, you're out of luck, but if you do have it and you can string some games together, you can put a special run together. So I'm really excited, honestly.
A lot of familiar names in the bracket.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you saw all the pop up?
A lot of familiarity for sure, and I think at times that can almost help you, especially when you're scouting for opponents, especially at times with just a day turnaround. And but at the same time, they're going to be familiar with you. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. A lot of those teams, obviously, we haven't played either beginning of this season or even into last season, and it is what it is. And I think that's what makes it so fun, those storylines and the familiarity, whether it's Colorado at the 5, whether it's Louisville at the 6, I think they were. And I think we're just excited. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. You better bring your best, because at this point in the season, anybody can get beat.
See, when you talk about how much basketball you watch, women's basketball, whatever, have you watched Princeton? Have you watched West Virginia? Do you have any preliminary thoughts on that?
I honestly have not watched either of them much, and I obviously check the ESPN box scores and see what's going on, but can't say I watched either of them. I know Princeton's always very, very good. Their former coach that used to be there, the coach actually that is there, was my USA basketball coach when I was on the U16 team, Coach Berube. So very familiar with her and how she coaches, and she's done a great job there. Was at a D3 school before that, so it's about all I know about Princeton. She's had a lot of success there, and
You've maybe had a chance to let a 1 seed sink in since last Sunday. It was pretty firmly locked in that you were going to be one. Have you thought about what that means for this program, this history, for Coach Bluder especially, first time she's been a coach to be a 1 seed?
Yeah, I think more than anything, we earned it. I think going into those last 2 weeks of the season, whether it was hosting Ohio State on our home court or even the Big Ten tournament, that wasn't solidified. We could have been a 3 through a 1 through a 2. We could have been really whatever. And I think we played and we earned it. And I think that was the biggest thing, beating Ohio State on our home court. But also we put together 3 really good performances in the Big Ten tournament and beat some good teams there. And I think Coach Bluder she deserves this more than anybody. She's been doing this for a while. She's had some really great teams, and no matter what, you're just lucky to get in the tournament. And once you're in, and it doesn't really matter what your seeding is. You can't be worried too much about what number of teams got next to their name. You got to go out there and play.
For some teams, this can be a stressful day if you're on the bubble or something like that. You guys knew you were going to be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
So they just kind of the excitement of seeing who you're going to play, or what's it like knowing that you were probably going to be a 1 seed?
I think it's just the excitement of getting to see who we're playing. I think we've been practicing for a while now. Just you don't really have anything to prep for. You're getting better at things that you want to get better at, but now you can really start prepping for opponents and kind of having a little bit better of a game plan. So I think that's important. And I think it's you always just have questions up in the air. But I think for us, it's we're just excited to get out there and play again because we've been playing such good basketball. We want to carry that momentum into this tournament. Obviously, we were able to do that last year, and I think coming off a huge Big Ten championship, we'll be able to do exactly that.
Getting back to my earlier question, just as a competitor and somebody who's watched this tournament so long, and Like, what are you feeling like internally? Like, and just what you did last year is so like impressive.
Yeah, I think it probably looks a lot easier to people on the outside world what we did last year. I think understanding how hard it is, and I think just being able to go from game to game and really, understand not every game is going to be perfect. You're going to have to find some gritty ways to win, and I think the advantage of that is our team has done that in a lot of games this year. Is we've had experience, especially the Nebraska game. Is we really probably shouldn't have won that game, but we found ways to win. We're experienced, we're mature, we know how to handle late game situations. We know how to come back from deficits, and I think we've kind of experienced it all this year, whether having big leads and losing it, coming back from being down. I think all those things will help us going into this tournament, and obviously having Kate and Gab and myself, we've been able to experience at least. I've experienced 4, Kate's experienced 5. Of these together, so I think it's fun for us, and you got to use that to your advantage. That knowledge and that experience, and not every other team has that, and we're lucky to have that.
What was kind of your